Hello, welcome to another video. So we are back with my Jacqueline Wilson reading vlog series, and this month we are doing the YA older books Jacqueline Wilson has written. Now I've got a whole host of Jacqueline Wilson YA books that I'm not going to read them all this week because that's not going to happen. But I'm going to talk about the 8 books that I have got here. Yep. And we'll hopefully get through like 3 or 4 of them. So as we know so far, I love Jacqueline Wilson. I love her middle grade. I really enjoy her YA. And one of my favourite series by Jacqueline Wilson, but just in general, has been the Girls series, and Jacqueline Wilson is continuing that series with her first adult book releasing in September. So some of her YA books I really like with her YA, how she takes some, like, all of her books have got a very strong message, and like I've said already, there's been discussions around single parenthood, abusive parents, adoption, and divorce, things like that. These kind of conversations also continue in her YA books, but there are also much more teenage conversations as well, I'd say. So I don't actually have this book in front of me because I am currently reading it, because I am starting this vlog before, after I've started reading. But the first book that I'm reading for this vlog is Baby Love. So Baby Love follows Laura, who is, I think she's either 13 or 14. And she accidentally gets pregnant. And this is in 1960. And so her parents send her away, and she is kind of effectively like shunned from the family and forced to have the baby like in a hospital, and that baby is going to be adopted at birth. So we've got those typical Jacqueline Wilson themes of adoption. But I think what's interesting with this one is that we're seeing it from the other side. We're not seeing it as an adopted child. We're seeing it as a child who's been forced to give up her baby. I've not read this book before. It has been on my TBR for a couple of years. I am so excited to read it. It is in fact a 5-star prediction. It's one of my 5-star predictions from earlier this year. I'm so excited to finally actually have started reading it. The next one that I want to talk about is Kiss. So this one I've got out of the library. This one follows Sylvie and Carl. I don't actually know very much about this book, so I'm reading from the back. Sylvie and Carl, who've been friends forever. Now they're teenagers. Carl has got a new friend called Paul, and who's taken away, all his attention, so he's spending less time with Sylvie. I think this is going to be about being gay and how you come out with your friends, and how you kind of cope when you lose your friends to love. I believe it is going to be a gay relationship. I have basing that on nothing other than the fact that Carl has a new friend called Paul who's taken all his attention. Sylvie can tell his feelings have changed, but can she guess at the true reasons behind it all? Makes me think that Carl is probably gay. But again, I think it's going to be a really interesting conversation, and I'm very excited to read that one. Next we've got Love Lessons, again another one that I haven't read. This one follows Prue, who has been educated at home by their very strict father, but her father is then rushed to hospital for a reason, and she is sent to school. She finds it very, very difficult in school, but she gets on really well with her young art teacher called Rax, starts babysitting for his children, and it's a forbidden romance between her and Rax. Now I'm hoping anyway that Rax, the teacher, doesn't act on this girl's crush. But again, I think it's going to be an interesting one to do with like those kind of inappropriate relationships. I'm excited about that one. Another one from the library that I also have not read before is My Sister Jodie. This one, again, this one is about 2 sisters, Pearl and Jodie. Pearl is younger, small and shy. Jodie is 3 years older, bold, brash and bad. Their parents get new jobs at a posh boarding school, but Pearl fits in, makes new friends, Jodie doesn't. But there is a tragic accident and Pearl realises quite how much she needs her big sister. So I don't know what is going to happen to Jodie, but I presume it will be a tearjerker. Again, excited for this one. I think it's going to have great conversations. Next we've got Lola Rose. Lola Rose I think I have read before when I was younger. I think I read this when I was a teenager, but I don't actually remember it. So it starts, the synopsis says, when life at home suddenly gets really frightening, Janie, her mum and her little brother Kenny have to pack their bags and escape in the middle of the night. They also have to choose new names, so Janie becomes the glamorous, grown-up Lola Rose. But her life isn't quite as wonderful as a new name. When mum has to go into hospital, Lola Rose is forced to be much more grown-up than she really feels. So I think this one is again another one about abuse and abusive family relationships, abusive parents. So very, very interested in this one. Then we've got Vicky Angel. I have read Vicky Angel before. This one is about Jade and Vicky. Vicky is a very, very sparkly, fun girl. She doesn't stop a thing like being killed going to stop her having fun and playing with her best friend Jade. And it's about Jade having to cope with finding new friends after Vicky has died, but kind of also being haunted by Vicky's ghost, who's stopping her from making friends. I really enjoyed this one. Then we've got Midnight. This is one that I, again, haven't heard of before, but I picked up in a charity shop. Violet has always been in the shadow of her mesmerising, controlling brother Will, by turns delightful and terrifying. But now Will has learned a shocking secret about his own past and things seem to be getting worse. Violet retreats into fantasies based on the fairy characters created by her absolute favourite author, Casper Dream. The arrival of Jasmine, a new girl at school who immediately befriends Violet, seems like it might change Violet's life for the better. Will Jasmine help her to break free of Will's spell? I think, again, this one is going to be an interesting one about like coercive relationships, particularly sibling relationships, which would be interesting. And the final one on this list is The Illustrated Mum. This one has been on like another TBR because I wasn't sure how old it was. But this is following Star, whose mum, Marigold, is covered in tattoos. But she wishes that her beautiful mum wouldn't stay out partying all night or go weird every now and then. So I think, again, this one is about mental health and like mental health in parents. Very interested to read that one. So my plan is, if I can, to read Baby Love, Kiss, Love Lessons, My Sister Jodie, and if I can, Lola Rose. I think it's very unlikely that I'm going to get to these three. So today is Tuesday. I started reading Baby Love yesterday. On Monday, I'm wrapping this vlog up on Thursday. So, yeah, this is going to be a 4-day vlog and I'm expecting myself to read like 5 books. Not very likely, but Jacqueline Wilson books are fairly easy to read and they are quite quick reads. I might extend this vlog a little bit just to get at least a couple more books read, because I've only just twigged that I have started it late and I'm wanting to read quite a lot, so that's dumb. But yeah, I'm wanting to read a few of these books and I will come back to you with my thoughts on the YA Jacqueline Wilson books that I have read. Hello, so it's Tuesday afternoon and I'm reading Baby Love. 225 pages through, so I'm sort of like about the halfway point. So Laura has just properly found out that she is pregnant and her parents, well, her mum knows. Her mum basically forced her to go to the doctors, and the doctor, who was her best friend's dad, was like, how did you not know you were pregnant? And I sympathise with her so much. I'm honestly already, like, I know this book is going to make me cry. I'm already quite upset with like this book. So Laura is 14. She's our main character, and you know, we know from the synopsis that she has a baby. But she's basically, well, she is raped. And they don't call it that, but you know, that's what it is. Someone had sex with her without her understanding what was happening. So, you know, she didn't even realise that they had had sex. Do you know what I mean? Like, so, like, and now, you know, her mum's just said, this is like the last paragraph here. "How could you do this to me, Laura?" she said. "I can hardly take it in. You are such a dear little girl. I've always been so proud of you, and now you've ruined my life. People will blame me. I'll never be able to hold my head up high again, and neither will you. You're spoiled goods now, and no one will ever want you." Bless her. She's only 14. Like, I knew that this happened back in, like, you know, the 50s and 60s, but also it's so heartbreaking. Well, I'm going to carry on reading. I've just finished reading Baby Love and I loved it. It's so good. I'm so glad I finally read it. This was I believe it's on my 5-star prediction list. It was definitely on my like priority reads for 2023. Let me check whether it's on my 5-star prediction as well. No, it wasn't on my 5-star prediction, but it was a priority read this year, and I'm so glad I've read it. I loved it. Again, I think it was a really interesting discussion because so many of Jacqueline Wilson's books discuss adoption and being a child in care. I think this was really interesting being the other side and being a parent having to give up a child. I also think it was interesting that she chose to have such a young mother, with Laura only being 14. But yeah, absolutely loved it, and just feel very happily emotional, if that makes sense. But yeah, really, really, really good, and I really liked it. So I don't really know that I've got very much to say on it, to be totally honest, other than it was just a really gorgeous, beautiful book. It's one I'm very, very glad I've read, and one that I think I will read again in the future because I just think it's beautiful. So yeah, that's my thoughts on Baby Love. Hello, it's Thursday evening, so I'm reading Kiss, and I am about halfway through. I'm not sure what I think so far. So this one is a YA book, and we're following Sylvie, who is 13, 14, and her best friend Carl. They've been best friends forever, ever since they were like absolutely tiny. She calls Carl her boyfriend, and they basically live next door to each other. They spend every waking moment together. However, Carl has got a new friend called Paul. Now, I still think that Carl is gay, and that this story is kind of going to be his coming out story. But there's no actual like inkling of that so far, because I'm about halfway through the book. But what I think is really weird is Sylvie doesn't read like a 13, 14-year-old. She reads like a 9-year-old. Like, she is so immature, like painfully immature. You know, she's always wanting to be playing make-believe games with Carl, and he's like, yeah, no. And just think, like, I just find she's very oblivious as well to everything. So there's a new friend that she's got called Miranda, and they'd gone over to Miranda's house, and there was a group, 3 boys, 3 girls, and they were playing spin the bottle. And Sylvia was like, ew, you wouldn't want to kiss a boy, yuck. And yes, 13, 14 is still very young to be, you know, like kissing boys. But it's not like weird at that age, you know. And then I've just read a bit about Miranda's mother, who is clearly anorexic, and she is like, I think she is actually anorexic coded. And it is giving me very much the kind of 90s heroin thin things. So like, again, I'm just going to read a bit here. Still, she does look wonderful, said Alice. I'd give anything to have a figure like hers. I wouldn't, said Miranda. I think she's off her head. It's not even like she's a model anymore, so she hasn't even got her job as an excuse. She was a real fashion model, I asked. Yeah, from when she was 14, our age. She's got huge glossy photos of herself all over her dressing room. How sad is that? I think she looks gross in the extreme. Miranda, said Alice. It's okay. She said I look gross. Do you know what she said to me the other day? I'd called out for a takeaway pizza after supper, and she caught me stuffing my face. So she gives me this mournful lecture, right? And she finishes up, you could be such a lovely-looking girl if you'd only watch what you eat, Miranda. If you'd only lose weight, you could be a model. Like I'd want to be a brainless clothes horse. And you know when you're just like, right, your mother is telling a 13-year-old girl that she's too fat? Like that's really... the red flag alarm is going off. This was published in 2007, which I do think is later than I feel is later than thought. If this had been published in like 97, I'd have given it a bit more grace for the, you know, the 90s heroin thin. Anorexia was cool. 2007, not quite so much. And I do think it is good that our main character, well, that our character Miranda is saying it's not cool, it's not attractive to be that skinny. But I do feel like it's a bit icky that her mother is written as an anorexic character in here. There was also another part that kind of gave me the ick. Sylvie, who's the main character, her mum is going on a date with someone that she's met online, and she said, oh, that he's got a disability, and Sylvie's like, oh no, which that gives me the ick. And then it turned out like the man had a stroke, and so he walks with a cane or something. And then later her mum had gone, oh, it's fine, we spoke on the phone, which is good because I thought I wouldn't be able to understand him. Like, again, just kind of gives me an ick of that. Like, I guess it's, I don't even know what it is. It's not even ableism because it's, well, I guess it is ableism. But it's the kind of assumption that you hear the word disabled and it's a bad thing. Which again, I don't feel is a healthy perception to have in a book for children. So that's my thoughts so far at the 50% mark. Am I enjoying the plot? I'm not sure. Like, I'm not enjoying it, but at the same time, it's, yeah, I'm not sure that this is that. Oh, sorry, Bella. I'm not sure that I'm like really loving the plot because, again, like I said, Sylvie is irritating me, and I think I know what the plot is going to be, but I'm not getting like really any indication of that yet. And I feel like at the halfway point, I would be expecting some sort of indication, because I feel like, again, if the plot point is that Carl is gay, we've got to see him, maybe not see him come out, but we've got to see him accept that, or like acknowledge that he is gay and come to terms with that. I don't want to see, you know, I wouldn't want the book to end with him not having come to terms with that and like being able to come out or being able to embrace himself. So yeah, mixed thoughts on this one, but I'm going to continue reading and I will let you have more thoughts when I have more. Hello. It's Friday afternoon. I've just finished Kiss and I didn't like it. So basically, yes, Carl is gay, which is what I've been surmising the whole time. He tried to kiss his friend Paul. Paul freaked out and then basically told everyone at school how Carl's gay and basically outed him and all started bullying him. And that's sort of pretty much where it's ended. Both of Carl's parents have mentioned the term "it's just a phase." Someone has said as well, oh, you can't know if you're actually gay at your age, so, you're probably not. And there was just a lot of kind of like, I guess, homophobic, like kind of the well-meaning homophobic commentary of people being like, oh, do you know what I mean? Like the people who say it's just a phase, who are actually, no, it might not be. You don't know that. The only person who knows their own feelings is the person who has those feelings. So you can't say it's just a phase and that you don't know what you're feeling, because they do know what they're feeling. And, yeah, they may not have the language for everything necessarily, but still, yeah. Then there's all of the whole, like, Carl's at a boys' school, and so how gay was an insult. And again, yes, in sort of 2007, gay was a big insult. And to my shame, I know that I used to use that and be like, oh, that's so gay, which is horrible. And I think that's kind of it, to be honest. This has not aged well. If this was written today, I would be expecting, even if there was some bullying when Carl came out, I would be expecting by the end everybody to be accepting of him, to, basically be loving him, and still be, I wouldn't expect to see the phrase, it's just a phase, or you don't know how you feel at your age. I would not expect to see that in a book that's written today. And yeah, I feel like this has not aged well. And it's a shame, because I think that I think it's great to have books that are about coming out. But in this one, Carl was outed, he didn't come out. I also feel like this should have been from Carl's point of view. We only saw Sylvie, and it was very much, oh, poor Sylvie. Carl doesn't love her. No. Like, this is Carl's story, not hers, not Sylvie's. So yeah, wasn't a fan of this one. So, like I said, it is Friday afternoon, it's about 3 o'clock. I'm trying to decide, do I pick up another Jacqueline Wilson? Because normally I think I will pick up another Jacqueline Wilson. I think I'm going to pick up Love Lessons next. And then hopefully I can read that, and then hopefully I can read that one today or this afternoon, and I can then wrap this vlog up tomorrow, and get it up for Sunday. But that's my thoughts. Hello, it's Friday night. I have got a cuddly cat, a cuddly dog, we'll ignore the crap, and I'm going to start reading Love Lessons by Jacqueline Wilson. This one is not very long, it's about 250 pages. I would like to try and finish it tonight. What time is it? 7:30. Maybe. maybe. I'd like to try and finish it tonight or like first thing tomorrow, just so I can edit this video and get it up for Sunday. I am so shiny. It is roasting today. It's been about 29 all day today, and yeah, it's hot. It's hot. Thing is, it's not like been constantly hot this week. It only kind of got hot yesterday, and then today has been boiling as well. So yeah, I'm fairly shiny. We're gonna pretend it's the look that we're going for. You off, Bella? Okay, bye. But yeah, I'm gonna read Love Lessons. So this one, I haven't read this one before. This one follows Prue. She and her sister have been educated at home by their very strict father. He's suddenly rushed to hospital and the girls are sent to school for the first time. Prue finds it difficult to settle. The only person she can talk to is her kindly young art teacher, Rax. She then starts babysitting for Rax's children, and she finds herself longing for the 10 minutes they have alone together as he drives her home. But she can't act on her secret feelings, can she? So this one is like a forbidden relationship. Now, I am really, really, really hoping that this is not a two-way relationship. Like, I hope that this is a schoolgirl crush only. If this turns into like a... Because I'm assuming that the girl is sort of like 13, 14, because most of Jacqueline Wilson's YA is aimed at the sort of younger end of YA, so like your kind of 13, 14-year-olds. So I really hope that it's not going to end up being a paedophile story. When was this one published? 2005. Could go anyway. Could go either way. But I'm hoping that this one is going to be good and not uncomfortable, and or at least not uncomfortable in a bad way, I should say. And I will stop talking now and start reading and come back to you when I have read something. Hello. So it's no secret at this point that I am a big Jacqueline Wilson fan. And I do get that she's like in her 80s and has been writing for many, many years. But I wish that she would update her language every now and then. So, like, here. What? Toby's the only decent boy in our year. Everyone reckons him. This was published in 2005. In 2005, I was 16. The kids in this book are 14. I've never heard anybody use the word reckons as a way of saying they fancy someone. And and the other term that she uses all the time, that is, I can't stick him. Again, never heard anybody use, other than like in Enid Blyton, I've never heard anyone say use stick as like I don't like that person. And it just kind of is... Maybe it is just because I'm now on like my, I don't know, 10th, 11th Jacqueline Wilson in the last couple of months. But it's kind of taken me a little bit out of the story. The reckons more than stick, because, again, I read Enid Blyton growing up, and so I can't stick him. Feels like an Enid Blyton phrase, and I can be like, yeah, okay, I've heard that. But literally, I've never, ever in my life heard anybody say, I really reckon you. Like, it doesn't make sense. And you know how sometimes, like, if this was written today about, like, Gen Alpha today, I might be like, okay, maybe this is some new slang that I just don't know. But no, this was written in 2005, when I was pretty much the age, like I said, I was pretty much the age of the main characters in this book. I'd have known if reckons was a term that people used, but it definitely wasn't, or at least if it was, it never got down to Devon. Yeah, tell me down below. Have you ever heard anyone, like any human in real life, actually say, I really reckon him, as a way of like, you fancy someone? Because, yeah, it's kind of taken me out of the story. However, saying that, I am that far through. It's about 10 o'clock now, I think. Oh no, it's 9:30 now. I'm going to finish the book now tonight. I've only got like 60 pages left. The font is huge, by the way. So yeah, I'll finish it. I'll let you know my thoughts, but I just thought I would jump in and say that I wish Jacqueline Wilson would use some language that wasn't out of the 1930s. Okay, I finished Love Lessons. So, I'm sorry, I don't know what my hair is doing. This is clearly just like hot weather hair. Anywho, when I started this book, I said that I really hoped that it didn't go in a certain direction. That I really hoped that the crush between the student and the teacher was not reciprocated. It was reciprocated. And not just like verbally, yes, I like you kind of language. They, like, he drove her to like a makeout spot and they were like kissing in the car. It's something that I find like I cannot get on board with like student teacher relations at all. Just about if it's like university student teacher, but 14-year-old, no, that's a paedophile. And I don't think that a paedophile, a romanticized story about a paedophile, is ever going to be a good book. Do you know what I mean? And like, it's just, to me, and look, I don't think that books should be censored or that, you know, I feel like anyone should be able to read anything of any age. However, saying that, I do not think that reading about a 14-year-old starting a relationship with her teacher, which is reciprocated, is suitable for children. This subject, in my opinion, only belongs in books like My Dark Vanessa. And I'm just so disappointed, mainly because that's 2 Jacqueline Wilsons in a row that I've really not liked. And it's not the way that this was handled as such. So like with Kiss, I didn't like the way that the subject was dealt with. And this one, it's not the way that it was dealt with. It's the fact that it well, I suppose it is the way it's dealt with, really. I just wish that she hadn't. The thing is this could have been done so well, because we've got Prue, who is very imaginative, and even at 14 has got imaginary friends who she is constantly talking to. We could have had it that she imagined her whole relationship with Rax. Fine, like, still, you know, great, but okay. It could have been, you know, she was just obsessive with him and he's constantly saying no. Again, fine. But why did he have to reciprocate it? So yeah, no. Not a fan with that one. Oh, I'm so disappointed. Okay, because it's like 10 p.m. now and I'm clearly fairly grumpy about having just read that book and it really not being what I wanted it to be, I am going to sign off now. I will tomorrow morning come back on and I will give you my ratings for, I don't think I've rated Baby Love either, so I'm going to rate the 3 books that I've read in this vlog, and I'm going to close this vlog off. Why does it have to be reciprocated? Oh, so annoyed, so disappointed, and just so sad as well, to be honest, because it's something that I've always loved about Jacqueline Wilson, is that so many of her books have such great messages, like even if they're difficult subject matters, the messaging is still really great. But just these last 2, they've just not been the ones. Maybe it is just that she's better as a middle grade author than a YA author. But then again, I really, really liked Baby Love. But I'll see you in the morning. Hello, it's the following morning, and I'm going to give you my reviews and my final thoughts and wrap this vlog up. I'm less upset today. I am just very, very salty. So let's start off. First book that I read in this vlog, Baby Love. Thank God for Baby Love, eh? I gave this book 4.5 stars. I loved it. I think it's fantastic. I think it handles the subject matter really well. I do wish there was a little bit more repercussions on the fact that our main character was raped. But I appreciate that, as this is set in 1960, it felt true to its time. I also really, really appreciated that at the end there was 2 author notes. We've got a note on adoption, about how women getting pregnant kind of out of wedlock or as minors is no longer quite so kind of frowned upon, and how adoption works today. And we've got a note on sexual consent, again basically saying how, acknowledging that Laura was raped. There is also a list of charities and organisations to help if you have been sexually abused. I really appreciate that about this book. So yeah, 4.5 stars for Baby Love. I thought it was fantastic. I had a great time reading this one. This is definitely one of like a Jacqueline Wilson new fave. We all go downhill from there. We then got Kiss. So Kiss, I rated 2.5 stars. Now, my thoughts with Kiss. The characters I wasn't the biggest fan of. I didn't actually like Sylvie really at all. Didn't really like Carl either. But I feel like the subject matter, I feel like basically my problem with Kiss is it hasn't aged well. I feel like the subject matter was handled in a way that I still don't think was correct, but was the norm in the early 2000s. Now, I do wish that instead of repeatedly saying, oh, it's just a phase, you can't know if you're gay when you're 14. I wish that instead there had been more acceptance and love. There were glimmers. Carl's mum, like when Carl comes out to his mum, she goes, okay. And he's like, Mum, I've just told you I'm gay and you act like it's no big deal. And her response is, it's not a big deal. That, love, fantastic, brilliant, 10/10, no notes. You know, all of the rest of the pages, many notes. So my issue with Kiss is that it hasn't aged well. I would not recommend this book, particularly to children who are, who are coming out or confused about their sexuality. I do not think this is a good book to read if you are sort of struggling with your sexuality or like struggling to understand your own sexuality. This is not good. It's not helpful. As a adult reading this, I can see the pros, I can see the cons. Again, I think for me, if this, if I'd read it in 2005, even if I'd read it as an adult in 2005, I think it came out in 2005, it's either 2005 or 2007. 2007. If I'd read this then, like I was 18 in 2007, I was starting uni. If I'd read it then, I think I would have rated it higher. I'd have, like, what it was saying and what it was doing and how it was saying everything, its message in this book was accurate to what kind of beliefs were in 2007. I do not agree with them. I do not think it is right. I just think this book has aged badly. So 2.5 stars because I don't think it's aged very well. We've then got the one that I am incredibly salty about. I'm giving it 1 star, guys. I never hand out 1-star reviews because I'm a DNFer. If I don't think I'm enjoying the book, I DNF. 1 star. So, as you can probably guess from my last clip, the reason that I hate this book so much is the way that it romanticizes paedophilia and student-teacher relationships. This book is aimed for young teen. This book is aimed at young teens. It is aimed at girls aged kind of 11 to 14, I would say. When you haven't been a girl aged between 11 and 14, and I think this is probably a universal experience and probably also an experience that boys get as well, but as a young teen, you get crushes, and you get crushes on your teachers because your teachers are the people that you spend a lot of time with. You know, yes, you will have a crush on like the boy in your class, but teacher crushes in young girls and boys is not uncommon. So for me, the subject matter of a student-teacher crush, okay, we're a little bit shaky, but I can see why that is the subject matter of a teen book. However, I do think that it is the responsibility of the author to handle that subject matter with care, and I do not think this was handled with care. When we're talking about student-teacher crushes, the teacher is always going to be the responsible adult. They should be the one shutting that down. They should not be then inviting that student round to their house to babysit. I mean, they shouldn't be doing that anyway. But even so, they should not be encouraging that behaviour. So not only does Rax encourage that behaviour, he then acts on that behaviour, and he does in fact kiss Prue in the car. He tells her that he loves her. That's completely unacceptable. That is paedophilia. And that this book is romanticising that behaviour, which is, again, is where I am absolutely just disgusted with it, to be totally honest. There's then the end of this book as well, which I just hated, which is the fact that at the end, Prue is made to leave school with, and I'll see if I can. So, Prue is made to leave school with the conversation being that she needs to leave school to save Rax's career. I can't risk having you and Mr. Raxbury at the same school, whatever the ins and outs of your friendship. Things have to be nipped in the bud immediately. If you won't leave, then I shall have to ensure Mr. Raxbury finds another position. No, you can't do that. He's a brilliant teacher. You should have thought of that before you started acting in this ridiculous and precocious manner. If I were another kind of head teacher, I'd have Mr. Raxbury instantly suspended. I think you mean someone doing their correct job there. There could even be a court case. He would not only lose his job, he could find himself in very serious trouble. Did you ever stop to think about that? Please don't get him into trouble, Miss Wilmot. None of this was his fault. I'm inclined to believe you, Prudence. So what are we going to do? Are you going to let me transfer you to another school? So Prue is made to leave her school so that she's effectively blackmailed into having to leave school so that Rax doesn't lose his job. This man is a paedophile. He should not be in charge of students. He should not be in charge of children. He needs to be in prison. Okay? That's it. Like I was saying earlier, the subject matter of a student-teacher crush in a book for teens isn't inherently bad, but it needs to be handled with care. And this just didn't do it. Now, we see Prue throughout this book. She has imaginary friends that she talks to in her head. She could have had an imaginary relationship with Rax. Okay, fine. He is completely shutting it down, but she has an imaginary relationship. Fine. I could be on board with it. It could be that she tries to act and she tries to kiss him, and he again shuts it down and completely, walks away, does the right thing. I'd have been a little bit shaky, but I could have got on board with it. But the fact that he reciprocates, absolutely not. No, 1 star. I do not recommend this book to anyone. I am a firm believer that books should not be banned and that anyone should read any book that they want to read. This, I feel like, is the exception. I do not think this is appropriate for teenagers, particularly the young teen girls that this is aimed for. Those young teen girls who are getting their first crushes, and those first crushes might be on their teachers. They should not be reading a book that tells them that those crushes are okay and that their teacher should be allowed to kiss them back or to do anything else. Absolutely not. No. So yeah, I'm going to end this vlog there now because I'm clearly not happy about life. I'm also going to just make like a quick, probably TikTok about how much I basically rehash it in that whole rant that I just did. So yeah, this was my reading pile. And let me know if you've read any of these. Let me know your thoughts. Also, please do let me know, am I being completely like over the top in my hatred for love lessons, or do you agree with me? Like, just please do tell me, like, am I the problem here? No, like, is this suitable for teens or not? Now I need to take these 2 back to the library. I don't know what I'm going to do with this because I don't want to put it in a charity shop because I don't think that anyone should read it. Can't bring myself to bin a book though. Probably going to go to charity shop, but it's going to come out of my house. And I might need to go book shopping just to calm myself down. If you like this video, please do leave me a like, subscribe down below, and leave me a heart emoji because I think all 3 have got hearts, all the word or like or about love. So leave me a heart emoji down below if you don't have anything that you'd like to say, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.